If it's knowledge, humour, or a different perspective that you seek, look for the wisdom in the words that we speak. Words and wisdom. We'll let you decide.
Welcome to Words and Wisdom. I'm Zak Mikey, and this...
Rhythmical Mike, baby.
Yes, man. Welcome to the podcast where we take topics on life, deep topics, sometimes shallow topics, all kinds of topics. We break them down, we dive into them, and we try and give you a different way of looking at them so maybe you can take parts from this podcast and become your greatest version. Today on the podcast, Mikey...
What have we got? Blimey. We're talking about, I've got it wrote down, opportunity.
Opportunity, man. I'm going to let you
Zach.
lead us in with this one.
Are you the famous Zak Mikey who was on the radio the other day?
Zak Mikey on BBC Radio 4.
I heard you, mate.
If you're listening to this podcast
beautiful.
now, which you probably will be, because there's no way of listening to it before.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Then this is the podcast after the debut I made on BBC Radio 4, which was presenting the podcast. Which was fantastic, wasn't it?
What a great opportunity!
What a great opportunity! And speaking of that, actually, I was so nervous to do that, but I knew that I needed to take that opportunity because if we don't take these opportunities in life that are all around us and we're blessed with them, and sometimes we can anxiety ourselves out of opportunity. See episode 3.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can anxiety ourselves out of opportunity, and it's like, all because you was a little bit scared of the outcome, you've missed whatever could have come out of that.
Have you ever seen the film Yes Man?
Yes.
It's so
Yes, Man.
Yes Man.
I wish you would step back from that. That's my favourite bit, mate.
I really did. I watched that and tried to implement it in my life, and thank God I watched it in the time where I was just coming into poetry, because I never watched it before, and I was get all the anxiety, see episode 3 and stuff, times of my life where I was like, right, I need a funny film on. So I put Jim Carrey on, and I was like on Netflix, and Yes Man come up. I thought, okay, I'll give this a go. It really is a powerful film when you look at it on its sort of soul level and the ideas it's giving. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to be that guy for a bit. And I don't know if I believe necessarily in The Secret, because I've been watching Deadly Cults series at the minute, and the guy that invented The Secret's on there.
Right. It's
a really interesting guy, and he built sweat camps, and people have died in his presence and stuff like that. And he goes, well, I'm not a doctor, and he's been arrested for it. So The Secret, the concept of The Secret, the beliefs are great, and I like the attitude towards it, because what you put out in the universe, it does sometimes come back to you. But the actual creator of it was a pyramid scheme guy. Just an interesting side bit of knowledge. But I really did feel this in my life when I implemented.
I like these words are coming up. We're creating a whole new dictionary.
Much talking. But when I started to put these implements in my life and say yes to things, and I get like moments where a gig would turn up, and even when it didn't feel right, it wasn't quite there, I did for the reason just go yes, and they were always the gigs that were the best. They were always the ones where I came home, I told my mum and dad, I was like, it went perfect, everyone came up to me, I had like a really emotional moment, or something happened, and that created another opportunity, and things started to amount from that.
And so that's the thing, man, is taking on all these things, saying yes to everything will create so many opportunities. But it's not that it creates opportunities, it just allows you to be in places where opportunities are, because if you're sat in your own living room, there's not a great deal that can happen at all, really. Whereas if you're out walking in the street, and there's two ways of doing it. Like, there's the person that takes the opportunities, and there's the person that doesn't take the opportunities, but everybody has opportunities. And I know there's a thing at the minute with the Black Lives Matter. So they're saying that obviously certain ethnicities don't have as many opportunities. And that may be true. I've not really gotten into that, and I'm not going to get into that. That's not my forte. But what I do know is opportunities are all around us, and we can choose to take them or not. So if me and you walk down the same street with the same people, and I talk to everybody on that street, chances are I'm going to pick up some kind of an opportunity.
I completely agree.
Whereas if you walk down the street in a bad mood with your head down, you ain't gonna, you're not going to find shit.
It is a state of mind a lot of the time, man. Again, I live in Ripley. Last night there was a fight that I've seen blow up with 50 people involved, but then you hear this attitude, and I've seen it all online. We live in a shit neighborhood, we live in a shit area, there's nothing to do, and if you go and talk to these people, and I have, so I'm only going from experience here, they just have this mindset and philosophy that we live in shitness and there's nothing to do. But the best saying that has ever been given to me by somebody: if there's not a scene, make a scene. If there's not something going on, make it go on. So like all these attitudes that exist, like what are you directly doing about it? What are you actively seeking to change? Like if you love poetry, if you love music, if you love training, what about the park down the road where you could call your mates up and say, shall we just go for a run? Shall we just go and start something up? Shall we create something, make something happen?
Well, I'm probably speaking from a very limited perspective here, but I just think it's fucking laziness, man. Because how much energy does it take? Well, you've got laziness and you've got anxiety and fear as well. Fear of rejection and fear of failure and stuff like that. But laziness is like, it takes a lot of energy to pursue something. Yeah. Even just thinking about where me and you want to be, or if you're listening to this, think about where you want to be in 10, 15 years' time. And it's scary because you think, I've got to do this, I've got to create a website, and then oh my God, there's so much to do. And then you think, well, do you know what, I'm going to go for a drink. And then you end up in the fight and doing these things and saying there's no opportunity. You're just being lazy.
I agree with that. But I also think it is a harmful mindset that's been created and made. Like, this is where you are now. This is what you've got. Deal with it. And there's so much scope in that. Like, my mum, everyone just thinks when I went to school, oh, that's a kid that's affluent, got it easy, never had to lift a finger in his life. Like, literally, and think of my mum in that way. So they think we've just been plonked on the farm. Every day we've just been given like millions of pounds and sat down and done nothing. I swear on my life, man, she got up at like 5 a.m. She's a veterinary nurse for 20 years. She's saving animals' lives every day on the daily. She sees an opportunity come up where a farm's gone on, we got it on, what's it called when you bid for it? What is that called?
Auction.
Auction. Thank you, man. The farm went on auction for a really good price because the person prior to it like went crazy, let all the horses sort of like, do you know where their hoofs like curl up and things? And you see
yeah. I have no idea about horses.
Okay. But again, like really bad state, let it just run down. And my mum saw this opportunity, put in a bid, got in like a lot of debt from it, like having to pay this massive mortgage off, but just saw it. Got up again, 5 a.m. She's working every day. She's making business. She's constantly grafting. And the thing is, the byproduct there is there's no family time then. There's no love in the house. There's no emotional things going on. It's all business. But look what she's created. Look what she's made out of it.
Exactly.
And then the people at school that just want to go, you've had it easy. You don't know. You shouldn't be talking about this. You shouldn't be talking on this level. I've had to watch that in my life, have the byproduct of not having the love in my home, but then also going, right, I want to achieve, I want to create, I want to make something happen. I want to like do the best I can do on a daily. So every day for me was like, right, what can I do? Who can I call? What meetings can I involve myself in?
Yeah, definitely. And one thing you did say there as well was risk. And risk and opportunity go hand in hand, because if you're not willing to take a risk in life, like even by doing these podcasts, we're essentially risking our social image by putting our opinions and beliefs out there. But if we don't, because we could sit and think, I might lose clients.
What will people think of me?
What will people think of me? But if we don't take this risk, we might not have we won't have the opportunity to help hundreds, thousands, however many, millions of people like our things, share our content.
I get where you're at, man. Yeah.
So
taking risks.
We need to take risks, man. We need to take risk, and we need to take opportunities.
I think with the opportunities I've come into recently, like again with the business, with taking risks, it emanates, it builds extra. And the thing is, we've got some knowledge of humanity in our pockets. You can always create a story where there's an oppressor and an oppressed, or a loser and a winner. And if you want to create yourself in the loser's shoes, then that's the reality you're going to create at the end of the day. If you want to go, I'm from this background, I'm from this area, I've got this skin colour, I've got this gender, I'm attached to that, you will create that story for yourself.
Yeah, and people may be looking at you in a certain way because they have racist beliefs or they have classist beliefs. I don't know if that's a word.
No,
this might be happening, and this probably is happening. There are people that are doing that, but if you're constantly looking for that and feeding it energy, where you put your energy is where your focus goes, where energy flows, or something like that. So if you're focusing on racists and being oppressed, suppressed, or whatever, then you're going to go down that avenue. Whereas if you say, okay, that is happening, cool, whatever, do your thing, I'm going to put my energy into my passion, regardless of my skin colour or my already existing disadvantages, and I'm going to fucking follow that, and I'm going to smash it. There's a story about a basketball player in like the 19 whatever, when white people were playing basketball, predominantly white people, and it was, you know, it's kind of frowned upon for black person to do anything back then, all the slavery and stuff. And there's a certain basketball player, I can't remember his name, and he had a super temper. He had a big, like, huge temper. Yeah. And he would fight on the pitch. If anyone called him certain racist names, he would fight them. He would, you know, physically fight them. He would speak out, blah, blah, blah. But he had all this potential as a basketball player. So this coach came along and says, all right, I want you to go professional. But if you go professional, there's one thing, I will only coach you if you do this one thing. You cannot react to these racists. You cannot react to these people. So basically what would happen is, like, the white basketball players would spit into the crowd if the crowd was booing them and all that sort of stuff, and they'd get away with it. That's fine. But if a black person did it, he was this, and, you know, execute him, or whatever it is that they did. And he would get elbowed on the court, he'd get pushed, he'd get shoved, he'd get called from the crowd, people would spit at him, and he just let it go over his head, and he became one of the most successful basketball players of his time through ignoring the stuff, water off a duck's back. I'm not like, and it's easy for me to sit here as a white male with whatever privilege I've got and say that, but there's evidence that it works.
Well, it keeps coming back round, doesn't it? This is the same story with everybody I know that's done well, succeeded in life. I'll go like Joe Rogan, then to Will Smith, then to Kevin Hart, then to any Ricky Gervais, people I really enjoy listening to, but they'll always come back round and say, I didn't let anybody else like dictate me, tell me how to act, and I always focused on the end goal, the prize, what I wanted. I just kept stepping. I wasn't looking at what I didn't have or what I did have. I just kept going forward and keep thinking about how am I going to get to that place I want to be at. If you've got a passion, that's number one start. Like, if you've got something you love, there's always ways of making that happen because somebody else has done it. Doesn't matter the starting point. The starting point, you could be really down the hill or really up the hill, but if you're looking at the top, you know you need to get there, you'll make it happen. It might take more work. It might take a harder graft.
Well, that's why it's called a disadvantage. Like, if you have got a racial disadvantage in a certain, say if you live in South America, it's a very racist place, isn't it? I think
there's elements and definitely areas,
big racism. Like if you go to South Africa, it's the opposite.
I can speak from that point because I live there, so yeah.
There you go then, brother. And there is disadvantages, but you can still get to a certain level. You can still put the work in, and you can still, and if you need to, you can move to places where there is more opportunity. But then again, I am speaking from a white male, so it's hard for me to kind of... I'm just giving my opinions.
Well, we can only go from experience and things we've heard and things we've seen and who we've been around. But I will always say the ones at the top of the game, the way they talk and what I've experienced, Andy Frisella, anybody, have always just said... If you create in this reality to yourself that you're always the loser, you're going to play that role. And the thing is, us just acting, us just doing anything on a daily, we're creating inequality. Like I said, in the kitchen, I saw this picture the other day on Facebook, and it was 3 people looking into a stadium. And there was 3 people on boxes, so there was box, 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 and they could all see. And then there was another picture at the side, which is the same picture, but there was 3 boxes up, so one could see a lot. Then there was 2 boxes, one couldn't really see, and then a box he couldn't see. And he'd be like, I've got no opportunity, I can't get there. And it was all talking about socialism, Marxist ideas. But I was also thinking, well, they're looking into the same stadium, but there's also people within that stadium that want boxes and they want to eat with caviar and they want to be closer to the pitch. There's always going to be in society elements of inequality because the ideas exist. People want to get more money, people want to achieve, people want a nice car, people want nice clothes. So we want to do well. And if at school you have like, we all take part in sport and everybody gets a medal or whatever you do, it's creating this ridiculous idea in my eyes. It's great, we achieve, we want to do well. We shouldn't all get like, we make different opportunities. I did rugby for a long time, and for a long time I was in a really good team. I reached the NLD level. Unfortunately for me, my body, my genetics, my bone density and everything wasn't the same as what the massive fellas who started coming through in the same age were like. It's a fact of life. You've got to deal with these facts of life that happen and work around it. What else can I do? Could I be a coach? I love.
Yeah. What am I good at? What are my talents? And what is my natural gift? Like, are you good with speaking? Are you good with human beings? Are you good with kind of the psychology of it? Are you physically able? Find what you're good at and capitalize on those, and then take the opportunities from there, rather than think, oh well, I've not got that, or I'm of this race, or I'm of this gender, or I'm of this, and it's not going to work for me, because it isn't. What you think, you become. If you think I am being oppressed or I am at a disadvantage, you will be that. It's just what we think we become.
Before you're looking out at the world and blaming it all for either why you're not feeling particularly good, it's first look inside. Think about what you're doing on a daily to make yourself feel better first. Because I see a lot of arguments at the minute. I see a lot of people like vilifying and attacking and labelling people. You're this, you're that. You shouldn't speak about this, you shouldn't speak about that. We're all a member of society. There's consequence in everything you say and everything we add into the ether, the equality level. So I just want people to start being conscious of how they're approaching people, how they're talking, and how they're talking to themselves, most importantly.
Whilst looking for opportunities. Whilst saying yes to pretty much as possible, especially if you want to become anything at all. If you want to be comfortable and live the same life you live and go out fighting, drinking and arguing, then keep doing that. But if you want to become something, start taking opportunities. And people say, oh yeah, you're just lucky. Like Darren Brown did an incredible show on luck. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I'm not seeing
what he did. He sent a presenter into this little town, little rural town somewhere, and he got the presenter to ask people, "Did you hear about the lucky dog?" And she'd just go around. Did you hear about the new lucky dog or the lucky dog statue up at the top of the hill? And she'd basically start spreading this rumour about this lucky dog. When you stroke it, you gain luck. People started to go and stroke this dog, and they started to do win things like some people won the lottery, some people gained this, and then basically there was this one butcher. He didn't believe in luck.
Right.
Okay. So more importantly, he didn't believe in opportunity. He didn't look for opportunities. And this is how it worked. They started leaving him like just stuff lying about. So they put a free TV in his daily magazine. It was like a scratch card. If you scratch it off, you get a free TV. He looked at it, chucked it. They left him 50 quid on the floor as he walked past, and he just missed it completely. There was this little. It was like, because he's a butcher. It was someone stood in the middle of the street saying, "Excuse me, sir, can I ask you, those sort of people, can I ask you a few questions?" And all they did was they wanted to ask him 3 cuts of meat or something like that, and he'd get 20 quid. He says, "Yeah, I'll be back later." And basically he was missing all these opportunities and calling himself unlucky. So at the end of the show, Darren Brown comes and says to the butcher, he says, "Look, this is what we've been recording. This is you not thinking you've got any luck.
Right.
You've just missed a whole bunch of opportunities." And at the end, they got him to do this like lottery ball thing where he put all his savings on this lottery ball because he took the opportunity, and he like tripled his money or something.
Right. Okay.
So the whole point of it is there is no such, or there is luck or the right place and the right time, but there is no such thing as luck. Only missed opportunities.
That's the key, man. Like everybody last night in that fight in Ripley, for example, like who will go on like today, wake up black eye, hungover, feeling shitty, probably do it again. They'll go out again. Then that goes into the week, and then they've got a job that they don't necessarily like a lot of the time. But that all that time, that weekend could have been spent. What's their passion? What's an interesting thing? What opportunity can I make from that? Could I branch off here? I don't really like this feeling I'm getting anymore from just fighting in the streets and that. And that's what happened to me after a while. I was like, what am I gaining from this? Why don't I go to an open mic and just try it out? Oh, I put myself in that uncomfortable position, but it felt right. It felt something I should be doing.
Stop caring what people think. I'm not sure what episode it is, but it's out there.
Yeah. And that really did, and it snowballed. And I met Martin Illingworth, and then suddenly I'm into schools, and it was just one moment of like, right, I need something new, I need to change, created an opportunity, and then you start making it happen. And you can see it as a spiritual thing, you can look into the secret, but all it is being aware, being conscious of what you're doing to yourself and where the positions you're putting yourself in.
Yeah, definitely. And if you're listening to this, which hopefully you are, but
I think they are.
I think that if you can hear us, you're probably listening.
They're feeling it.
Yeah, it's in the ether somewhere. So if you listen to this, what you want to do is you want to go away and say you go for a walk, you start talking to people, you start getting to know people, ask them questions. So like, who are you and what do you do, and how can I help you? Because that creates opportunities. You helping people creates opportunities. Start looking for opportunities. Don't go out with your headphones in looking at the floor.
Stop scrolling on your phones endlessly. Yeah. Like if you've got any business or you've got a passion, like it keeps going back to, but like who could you link up with even on your phone? If you've got a phone, and phones are going to exist now, social media is going to exist, utilize it. Use it for something that's going to better yourself.
Find opportunities on it. So is there anything else that you want to you go over there, Mikey?
I think we just keep coming back round to that. Really, it's an inside job first. Probably everything we go into, look at yourself first before we start all like arguing and putting it out there at each other and blaming. Just go to yourself, go, what's the best I can do for me right now? Be the change you want to see, I think, is awesome. What I'm saying.
Be the change you want to see. Quote of the day, be the change you want to see. So yeah, that's the end of today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you did enjoy it, drop us a like, because it helps us to reach more people. Apparently something to do with algorithms and stuff like that. So, join the journey, help us out and move along with us. We want to help as many people as possible. And we want to kind of just, even if you don't, we fucking love doing this. I love talking. Did you notice? I love talking.
It's a great quality of you.
Let's do a podcast on me again.
Bloody hell. And that's the 10th one now.
Right. Thank you, guys, and peace and love.
Big love, guys. Peace out.
Right.